We often hear the phrase, chosen ones, and it can sound like something from a story or a fairy tale. But what if I told you that the chosen ones aren't just born that way? They become who they are through many tough challenges. These challenges are not about physical strength, not things you can see or measure. They are about your heart, your mind, and your emotions, and they can be the hardest things you face. Not many people go through them, even fewer pass them, but the ones who do, well, they come out of it completely changed. Life itself is like a test, but not everyone faces the same test. There are different levels, and the more you go through, the tougher the challenges get. The chosen ones are the ones who are willing to face the hardest tests, not because they want to, but because they feel they have to. They feel a strong, unshakable pull deep inside them, telling them, you must go through this. It's not a choice, and it's not something fun either. These tests will push you to your limits, make you question everything, even who you think you are. But if you can stick with it, you will come out stronger and changed. The first test, facing the truth. The first test starts when you are asked to face the truth about who you really are. We spend a lot of time building an image of ourselves, a mask we wear for others to see. We think of ourselves based on our jobs, our friends, or the things we own. But the first test takes all of that away. It forces you to look at yourself without pretending. This moment is scary for most people because it's like looking into a big unknown. Who are you when you're not trying to fit into the world's idea of who you should be? Who are you when everything you thought made you who you are is taken away? Many people can't handle the first test. They give up and go back to what feels safe. They go back to their lies and the things that make them feel comfortable. But the chosen ones, those meant for something bigger, don't give up. They stay there, looking into the mirror, looking into the unknown, and they ask themselves the toughest question. Who am I really? Have you ever asked yourself that question, not just as a quick thought, but as a deep question that you can't stop thinking about until you know the answer? The second test, being alone. The second test is the test of being alone. We live in a world full of noise, social media, work, friends, family. But to pass this test, you have to be okay with being alone, not just alone physically, but alone in your mind and heart too. You have to be willing to sit by yourself in the quiet, face your own thoughts, fears, and wishes. And in that silence, you will begin to hear something else, a voice that has always been there, but was covered by the noise around you. This is your true voice calling to you. Can you hear it? Most people are scared of silence because they're afraid of what they might hear. But the chosen ones welcome it. They know that in the quiet is where the truth can be found. The third test, letting go. The hardest tests aren't the ones that challenge your body. They are the ones that challenge your heart and soul. The third test is probably the hardest for many people. It's the test of letting go. We hold on to so many things in life, grudges, hopes, disappointments. We carry the past around with us, and it weighs us down. But to pass this test, you have to be willing to let go of everything. You have to stop holding tightly to things, to people, to the way you want things to be. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop holding on so tightly. You have to trust that what is meant for you will come, and what is not meant for you will fall away. Letting go is not about being weak. It's about being strong. But here's the hard part. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. It's a process. You have to keep reminding yourself to let go, to trust. And just when you think you've learned to let go, life will give you something that makes you want to hold on again. It's in those moments that you have to ask yourself, am I ready to let go, even of this? How much are you willing to let go to be free? The fourth test, the dark night of the soul. If you've made it through the first 3 tests, you're already starting to change. But the journey doesn't get easier from here. In fact, it gets harder. The fourth test is one that has broken even the strongest people. It's called the dark night of the soul. This is the test where everything you thought you knew, everything you believed in, is turned upside down. It feels like the world itself is asking you, how much darkness can you handle before you lose your light? In the dark night of the soul, you go through a time of great inner struggle. It feels like everything is falling apart. Your relationships may break. Your job may disappear. Your purpose might seem to vanish. And all you're left with are questions. Like, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Will I ever get out of this darkness? But here's the truth. The dark night of the soul is not a punishment. It's a time of change, a part of your spiritual growth. The darkness isn't there to hurt you, but to take away everything that isn't really part of who you are. It is in the darkest moments that you can find your truest light, but only if you can hold on. Many people, when they face this test, give up. They fall into sadness and lose themselves in the dark, but the chosen ones, they don't lose hope. They don't let despair take over. They know that the darkness will not last forever. They know it's just a stage. They keep going forward, even when they can't see the way. They trust that there is light waiting at the end of the tunnel, even if they can't see it yet. But let me ask you, how do you react when everything falls apart? Do you panic? Do you try to hold on to the pieces of your life that are breaking, desperately trying to fix them? Or do you let them go, trusting that what's meant to stay will stay, and what's meant to leave will leave? The fifth test is the test of faith, not faith in the religious sense, but faith in yourself, in the world, in life. When you are in the dark night of the soul, you must trust that the darkness won't last forever, that there is a bigger plan, even if you can't see it. This is one of the hardest tests, because it asks you to believe in something you can't see, something you can't prove. It asks you to trust the unknown, to believe that everything is happening for a reason, even if you don't understand why yet. Faith isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending everything is okay. Faith means you accept the pain, feel it, but still choose to believe there's a reason for it. It means trusting that life is working for you, even when it seems like everything is falling apart. And here's the thing, when you're in the dark night of the soul, your faith will be tested over and over. You will feel like giving up. You will feel like the darkness is all there is. But the chosen ones keep going. They hold on to their faith even when it seems like there's nothing left to hold on to. They keep moving forward even when every step feels like it's taking them deeper into the dark. So let me ask you, how strong is your faith? Can you hold on to it when everything around you seems to be falling apart? When the world feels uncertain and your path is unclear, can you still trust? Can you trust in the unseen, in the unknown, even when it feels like you're walking in the dark with no light to guide your steps? There comes a moment in everyone's life, a moment that feels like you've been walking through darkness for too long. It's a time when doubts, fears, and unanswered questions swirl around you like a storm. But in the midst of this storm, you come to a precipice. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, knowing that something deep within you is about to change. This is where the sixth test begins, the test of surrender. If you've made it this far, you've already proven something incredible. You've shown that you are strong, that you can face challenges, pain, and uncertainty head on. You've endured. But this test isn't about enduring. It's about something different. It's about giving up control. It's about releasing your grip on life and trusting in the flow of it. The forces at work in the world are often beyond our understanding, far greater than the limits of our own will. And learning to surrender to them is one of the most difficult, but also most powerful lessons. As human beings, we love control. We love to plan, to organize, to strategize. We like to believe that if we work hard enough, if we set our minds to it, we can shape our lives and futures exactly the way we want. But life isn't so simple. Life doesn't always follow our plans. In fact, it often takes us down paths we never expected. Sometimes those paths lead to joy and growth, other times to pain and hardship, and sometimes they lead to places we can't even understand in the moment. The true path, however, is for those who understand one very important truth. Control is an illusion. The more we try to control everything, the more we fight against life's flow, the more we create friction and resistance. But there is a greater intelligence at work, a force that understands far more than our limited human minds could ever grasp. The real challenge is to trust that force. It's the willingness to surrender, to stop fighting the natural flow of things, and to accept that there is something larger than us guiding the journey. But surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean that you stop caring or striving for your dreams. It doesn't mean you give up your goals. No, surrendering means that you stop resisting. You stop fighting against the current of life, against the way things are unfolding. Instead, you allow yourself to be carried along by it, trusting that it will take you to where you need to go. Imagine this: you're swimming in a river. If you try to swim upstream, fighting the current with all your strength, you'll wear yourself out. You'll get nowhere, exhausted and frustrated. But if you let go, if you surrender to the current and trust it, you'll be carried effortlessly to where you're supposed to be. It's not about controlling the river, it's about flowing with it. This is what true surrender to life looks like. It's about letting go of the tight grip you have on everything, your plans, your expectations, and yes, sometimes even your identity. In this test, you may find yourself asked to surrender more than you ever thought possible. You might have to let go of attachments to your desires, your possessions, or even your dreams. This kind of surrender isn't easy. It's not something that happens all at once, like flicking a switch. It's a gradual process, one that unfolds slowly. It requires trust, the trust that life, even when it seems hard or unclear, is unfolding in its own perfect way. Trusting that even though you can't see the full picture right now, everything is falling into place just as it should. This trust, the faith that carries you through even the toughest moments, is what will ultimately lead you to the peace and growth you seek. Consider this: how much of your life do you spend trying to control everything around you? How many times do you resist the way things are, wishing they could be different, hoping that if you just try harder, things will change the way you want them to? What if, instead of fighting against life, you simply stopped resisting? What if you let go of the need to control every single outcome and trusted that whatever happens, it is exactly what you need in this moment? The test of surrender isn't about weakness, it's about strength, the kind of strength that comes from knowing when to let go. It's about the courage to trust the unknown, to release the illusion of control and allow life to unfold as it is meant to. Most people will never pass this test because surrender can feel like losing. It feels like giving up. But the chosen ones, those who truly understand this principle, know that surrender is not the end. In fact, it is the beginning. It is the moment when you step into the flow of life, when you stop struggling against the current and instead allow life to guide you in ways you could never have imagined. When you surrender to life, you're not giving up your power. In fact, you're tapping into a power far greater than your own. It's the power of the universe, the infinite intelligence that knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. This intelligence isn't random or chaotic. It's deeply connected and aligned with the natural order of the world. But to access this power, you must first let go of the illusion that you are in control, that you can direct every aspect of your life. That's when the real magic begins. Let me ask you, can you surrender? Can you truly let go of your need to control every outcome, every detail of your life? Can you trust that life, even when it feels unpredictable, is always working in your favor, even when you don't understand it? This is the test that separates the chosen ones from the rest. The test that asks you to release your grip on the steering wheel of your life and allow something greater to take the wheel. It asks you to trust, even in the face of uncertainty, that the road you're on is leading you exactly where you need to go. And here's the paradox. When you surrender, When you let go of the need to control everything, you actually gain more control. But it's not the kind of control you might think. It's not about manipulating circumstances or forcing outcomes to match your desires. It's about being in harmony with life, moving in alignment with the flow of the universe. It's about trusting that life is unfolding exactly as it should, and knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. When you reach that place of surrender, everything begins to unfold effortlessly. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, with the right people, and everything just clicks into place. The struggles you once faced seem lighter, and the path ahead becomes clear. The universe, in all its wisdom, has a way of guiding you exactly where you need to be, sometimes in ways you never imagined possible. But here's the truth. Surrender requires trust. It requires faith. It requires you to step into the unknown, into the mystery of life, without needing to have all the answers. Can you do that? Can you walk forward into uncertainty, trusting that, even though you can't see the full picture, you will be supported and guided every step of the way? This is the test of surrender, and it stands as one of the final trials that the chosen ones must face. It's a test unlike any other, because it isn't about strength or endurance. It's about the courage to let go, to trust the process of life and allow it to take you where you need to go. Many will try to hold on tightly to their plans, their control, but only those who can truly surrender to the flow of life will pass this test. And those who do will find that life has so much more in store for them than they could have ever dreamed. If you've come this far, if you've faced the challenges and learned to surrender, you've already endured some of the toughest trials. But there is one final test left, and it's the most profound of them all, the test of awakening. This is the moment when you finally see everything clearly, the truth that has been waiting for you all along, guiding you through the darkest of times. The final test isn't about what you can do or how strong you are. It's about what you can see. It's about seeing beyond the surface, beyond the struggle and the pain. This is the moment when the veil is lifted, and you can finally understand why you've gone through everything you've endured, the pain, the doubt, the moments of uncertainty. It all begins to make sense. The chosen ones aren't chosen because they are somehow special or different. They are chosen because they have made a conscious decision to awaken. They've chosen to open their eyes to the truth, even when it challenges everything they thought they knew. And the truth they awaken to is this: you are not separate from life. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are life itself, experiencing itself in a unique way, with a unique story and purpose. You are not just living through life. You are life unfolding in the most beautiful and complex way. The final test is about seeing that all the struggles you've faced, all the tests you've been through, were meant to lead you to this very moment. They were meant to strip away the illusions, the false ideas of who you thought you were, so that you could see the deeper reality underneath. That reality is that you are here for a reason. You are here because life itself wanted to experience itself through you. Your purpose isn't something you need to search for outside of yourself. It's something you are already living, moment by moment, day by day. The final test asks you to awaken to this truth, to realize that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. And when you finally wake up to this understanding, everything changes. You no longer feel the need to control everything, because you understand that life is already unfolding in the most perfect way. You no longer feel the need to search for your purpose, because you realize that your purpose is to simply be, to experience life in the fullest, most authentic way possible. But this awakening isn't the end of the journey. It's just the beginning of a new one. Once you pass this test, you are no longer confined by the limitations of the ego, the mind, or the fear that once held you back. You are free, free to live with meaning, free to create, to love, to explore without the weight of doubt or fear. You are free to be who you were always meant to be. This is the gift that comes from passing the final test. It is the reward for enduring the hardest challenges, for facing the darkness, and for choosing to emerge transformed and awakened. Now, I ask you, are you ready to awaken? Are you ready to see the truth about who you really are and why you are? Here, the journey ahead is not easy, the tests are tough, and there will be moments of pain, uncertainty, and doubt. But if you can endure, if you can face the trials and pass through the darkness, you will find that what awaits you on the other side is beyond anything you could have imagined. This is the path of the chosen ones. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who are willing to face the hardest trials, to endure the deepest struggles, and to come out the other side awakened, transformed, and free. So now the question is, are you one of the chosen ones?